Now let the beat ride.
Hey, I'm Josh Vincent, and welcome to High Chicago Sports Edition. I'm joined with my two main guys, Aaron Dixon and Sean Allen. Aaron, how's it going? I'm going to start with you, Mr. Green Bay, all day, 2-0. How's it going, bro?
2-0, baby. Unlike that fraudulent ass 2-0 over there in Chicago.
Wait, hold on, real quick, just so I'm clear.
Yeah.
2-0 on the standings is the same no matter what, right?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's gonna regress back to the mean. We know how they are.
Anyways, JB, go ahead, bro.
That's a fair assessment. Hey, what's going on, Sean? How's it going? The Chicago Bears are 2-0. I'm sure you're happy about that.
Yes, sir. I would love to start the Chicago Bears if you don't mind.
I mean, why not? Sure. I was going to start with Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Our two topics today.
Nah, back burner. Aaron already want to kick it off. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. Well, all right. Well, before we get into if Drew Brees is holding back the New Orleans Saints, let's start with the main topic. Let's just flip things around. The Chicago Bears, they are 2-0. They are sharing the top of the NFC North with the Green Bay Packers. Are they frauds or are they legit? Let's kick it off with Sean. Sean, tell us from your perspective, are the Chicago Bears legit?
So, and I've been racking my brain with this ever since the end of that Giants game, right? Because it's hard to tell, you feel me? The Bears could easily be 0-2 for being completely honest.
Yes, they could.
Right? Let me start there, but they're not. They're 2-0. So, yes, the Bears are legit, right? Take the end of the Lions game out of the equation, right? Take the end of the Giants game out of the equation and just look at what the Bears are doing overall, right? Mr. Trubisky is doing what I asked him to do. Not be crazy with the happy feet, right? Make smarter decisions, right? They're giving him time to throw. O-line has improved dramatically so far. I know it's only 2 games, but I see improvement, right? But also Nagy is now letting Trubisky get outside of the pocket, which he didn't do much of last season, right? Trubisky's throwing lasers to Miller, lasers to Robinson, lasers to Mooney. Trubisky looks like a competent quarterback, right? So just from Mitch Trubisky alone, he seems legit. Bears seem legit. 2-0. They are running the ball a lot more than they did last season. So after 2 games last season, the Bears only ran the ball about 44 times, where this season they've run at 60. David Montgomery has holes to run through. Okay. Now, my only concern is the defense, of being honest right now, because the linebacking play from Danny Trevathan specifically, he looks like old dog shit.
Straight like that. That's how you.
But Jalen Johnson and Kyle Fuller have been lockdown corners, which I love. Eddie Jackson's still been the man. Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn were nasty last game against the Giants. So right now, 2-0. It is what it is. The Bears seem legit to me right now.
Aaron, what is your response to that? The Bears narrowly beat the Detroit Lions. They narrowly beat the New York Giants. They got a 0-2 Falcons team coming up on the 27th. Are the Bears legit?
So I hear everything Sean's saying, and for the first time, Mitch Trubisky's actually not the problem.
Oh,
right.
So that's the wildest thing about this. But the Bears, as far as I've seen, have played out of the 8 total quarters, 3 quarters of good football.
Okay.
3 total quarters out of 8. That's a problem. Now, the good thing about it is that they were playing the Lions and they were playing the Giants. Those are 2 teams that you don't really have to play your best ball to beat.
Fair.
We saw that with the Giants against the Steelers. They were garbage, awful. Steelers didn't even have to play very well, mainly because their defense took care of them. Same thing with the Bears against the Giants. Their defense took care of them those last 2 quarters.
Okay.
They're not a very good team. From what I'm seeing, the Bears aren't a team that can hold it down for 4 quarters for an entire game. And
wait. How is that true if at the end of 2 games, after 4 quarters, they're 2-0? So how can they not hold it down?
So you missed everything I just said before.
Rewind it
just a little bit.
I heard everything you just said.
Because you just played 2 garbage teams.
Don't tell me that they can't hold it down
2 garbage teams.
after 4 quarters when they've done that. They don't make the schedule. They play who's in front of them.
Fair. I mean, I would argue this point, though, Aaron. Now, it's fair to say that they did play 2 garbage teams, but I would say even if you go back to that Lions game, when it mattered the most, Mr. Trubisky threw the lasers where they needed to go for them to get back into that game against the Detroit Lions.
And that's
now,
fine.
You're right. They should have lost that game because that was a terrible drop in the end zone on Detroit's part, but at the end of the day –
They almost lost to a limping Detroit Lions squad. And they should have lost it, if we're being honest. They should have lost that game.
But I guess from my perspective, and Sean, I kind of agree with you a little bit more here, even though I have my allegiance to Green Bay. From my perspective, in the end of the day, I'm just being honest. To my perspective, in the end of the day, the Bears are 2-0. Sloppy, ugly, however you want to describe the wins versus Detroit and versus New York. You can use whatever adjective that you want to use. In the end of the day, they are 2-0. Or gross, that's fine. At the end of the day, they are 2-0. And Mr. Trubisky is doing what he's supposed to do as the quarterback. So if I'm a Chicago Bears fan, I'm a little concerned when the schedule gets a little harder when you look at the schedule coming up when they play teams like the Buccaneers and when they play the Rams.
It's really going to show who they are as a team.
That's very true. I would love to see, and Sean, let me bring you in on this. When you're facing against Matt Ryan, who just lost a heartbreaking game against the Dallas Cowboys, the Atlanta Falcons, do you see Chicago going into Atlanta and coming away with a victory by the way they've been playing thus far?
Yes. Here's what a lot of people aren't really talking about that's making a difference, in my opinion, right? Okay. Is the lack of crowd is actually working in Mr. Trubisky's favor. Okay. He doesn't have to deal with the crowd noise on the road at all right now, right? He doesn't have to deal with Soldier Field crowd booing the shit out of him if he makes a couple mistakes, right? He gets to stay calm, poised. That's one less factor he has to worry about, right? So going into Atlanta is not a big a deal during this pandemic season as it would be in the past, right? So playing the way they're playing, it depends, right? Because you got to deal with Julio, you got to deal with Ridley, you got to deal with Hurst. Atlanta has weapons. Not going to deny that, right? And Atlanta can score some points. Not going to deny that either. But I think that the Bears defense is finally going to wake up. They're going to get to the quarterback. I can see them taking this game 27-24, right? As long as it's not a shootout that gets to the 30s, the Bears can put up enough points against the Falcons to take this victory. Yes, Joshua Vincent, I believe that. But I have a question for you, sir.
Okay.
Because you sound like a fraud right now.
Oh.
Let me tell you why you sound like a fraud. Because a few seconds ago, you just said, as a Green Bay Packers fan, when on Facebook, before the season started, you said you went from a Packers fan to a Bears fan. I have receipts that I will show the people that are watching on YouTube that this is a fact.
Okay, for the High Chicago people to know, I purposely like to stir the pot. But if you know me, you know my brother Jameer played for the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to always rock with the GB.
Jameer. Aaron is a Packers fan.
You know what I said.
Jair. Well, no, what I'm saying is don't ever say on this show that you're a Packers fan when you put on social media that you're a Bears fan. Because, well, number one, we don't want you. At all. You know what I'm saying? And number two, if you're going to be Green Bay all day. Because what you're trying to do is illegal.
That might be illegal. Before we get all off topic, I would like to point this out to everybody in High Chicago. My brother played for the Chicago Bears. My boy Anthony Miller. We went to college together. He was like, "Yeah, Mike, you could be a Bear fan, Mike." So,
shut up, bro.
Anyway, Aaron, let me ask you this one quick question about the Bears. As you mentioned, their next 3 games, they play against Atlanta, Indianapolis, and Tampa Bay. Do you see the Bears winning any, if all 3 of those games?
I think there's a chance that they can beat Atlanta. Mainly because Atlanta's defense is giving up the most yards through the first 2 games. But the other 2 teams, that's going to be a little tougher for them, the Colts and the Buccaneers. Mainly because the Buccaneers have one of the best defenses and the Colts have one of the best defenses while also being able to move the ball. And I don't think the Bears defense is going to be able to hold them down the same way they held down the New York Giants. 2 different offenses in Indianapolis and New York and Tampa Bay versus New York. These are teams that can move the ball. They have good running backs. And they have aged quarterbacks for sure.
That's true. Very true.
But quarterbacks that know how to move the ball.
Every game that Mr. Trubisky can just prove he's competent, which again he's done in the first 2 so far, the Bears will have a chance to win. Right? We have a championship caliber defense. Okay, you said age quarterbacks, right? Rivers is old as shit. Tom Brady's old as shit. He's still my guy, though. So if we can put some pressure on them and the Bears can walk away from this little 3-game stretch that you guys are referring to, 3-2, 4-1, let's get it, bro.
Stop it.
Sure. But after that, it's not like it gets much easier for you guys with the Carolina Panthers.
Garbage.
Rams,
That's
Saints,
a garbage team.
Titans,
but you got Rams,
Vikings.
Saints, Titans. Vikings are frauds. We've already seen that.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
They're very bad. But that's another a stretch of 3 games after the Panthers as well that you guys have to contend with.
So listen, we'll get there when we get there. Let me get past the Falcons first. You know what I'm saying? Let's see where our health is at, right? There's a lot of what ifs that we got to talk about. But as far as the game coming up this Sunday, the Bears will beat the Falcons. I have the Bears beating the Falcons. Yes, I do.
Yeah. One last question before we
sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
It might be made easier hearing that Julio might not play in this game. So that'll help you guys a little bit, having one less receiver to have to guard.
Real quickly for both of you guys on the Bears topic, will the Bears still be the number 1 team in the NFC North when this season is all said and done?
No.
Yes or no?
Yes, that was my prediction before the season started with. I got no reason to go away from that now. I have the Bears finishing 10-6.
All right.
Then finishing 10-6. Even after what you've seen from the Packers, you still think that 10-6 is going to win this division?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do.
All right. We'll leave it there with the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are going to go down to Atlanta and face them at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Switching gears a little bit, speaking of Atlanta and speaking of the NFC South, let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, a 1-1 team, a team that everybody said, hey, if you're going to win the NFC South, you must go through the Superdome. But they have not been playing like that team at all. The question now is Drew Brees, who is, if I'm not mistaken, is 41 years old, is he holding back the New Orleans Saints? I'm going to kick it off with you, Aaron. Do you feel like Drew Brees is the problem in New Orleans?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So on one side, you have a quarterback whose arm talent, period, has deteriorated to the point where he has the lowest air yards per attempt. But on the other hand, he's missing his best receiver in that last game against the Raiders. So we can evaluate him based on his lack of aggression, but we also can't evaluate him fully considering he doesn't have his full array of weapons right now.
That's fair.
And it seems like, Sean, you disagree with what I'm saying.
Yeah, Sean is making a lot of noise over there. Sean, are you not buying what Aaron is selling over here?
So, I mean, first of all, it's a wishy-washy ass answer. So I'm not buying that. Let me start there. But number 2, so this narrative that I've been hearing, bro, since the Raiders game that they lost was that is Drew Brees washed up, right? And the fact that people are even trying to say that after 2 weeks is absolutely ridiculous, right? Aaron, you gave that stat about how he's last or 32nd in the league in what, would you say air yards?
Oh, no, not just 32nd. I think he's 34th. Because there's been 2 other backups who have played. He is last.
Oh, so he's dead last.
He's doing what Sean Payton is designing for him to do, right? Which is control the offense. Sean Payton has designed the offense to not have him go stretch the field because he doesn't have to right now, right? So when I think of
that last game.
What's up?
If you look at that last game, they needed to go deep. It got to the point where they needed chunk yards, chunk plays, and every time Drew Brees would drop back, it'd be a 5-yard pass. They needed to get chunk yards, and when it mattered the most, they couldn't get those chunk yards.
Because, again, you mentioned the lack of Michael Thomas, right? So that doesn't mean Drew Brees has regressed because Michael Thomas wasn't there. Now, damn the air yard stats, right? Drew Brees is doing what he needs to do, and that team, he said himself, still needs to get in sync. No preseason, right? Still trying to get the offense under control.
But this is the team with the most continuity on its offense.
I hear you.
That's the problem.
But don't downplay the lack of training camp and the lack of preseason. Don't downplay.
No, that's for sure. But everybody had that exact same issue.
That's very true. I like to inject a stat because, from my personal opinion, I don't think that Drew Brees is necessarily the problem. Last year in New Orleans, they ranked 26th in the league, committing an average of 7.4 penalties per game, costing them 64 penalty yards per contest. But this year, check this stat out, guys. They are averaging in the first 2 games 8 penalties a game for a whopping 124 penalty yards a game. Even in their last game against the Raiders, they had 10 penalties for 129 yards. So when Aaron mentions about these chunk yards that they have to get, one thing you could say is that their penalties continue to put them back, that Drew Brees can't even move the ball down the field if he wanted to.
And that would be true. I would agree a little bit. They have looked like the most undisciplined team, which is wild for a team that does have so many veterans on their team.
Okay.
But I would like to see what Drew Brees looks like once Michael Thomas does come back. That's why I say I won't say that he's the problem, but I will say his lack of aggression has been more apparent in these first two games. That's sort of what I'm getting at. I'm not saying, like, don't hear what I'm not saying. I don't think Drew Brees is the problem. At least not yet.
Okay.
Do you think he's not washed up in your opinion?
No. He's over the last 3 years, he's become a less aggressive quarterback, but that's what's going to happen with age.
Right.
Now, will it fall off a cliff this year? It's, again, without his full array of weapons, I can't make that determination. But once Michael Thomas comes back, and if we see this exact same thing continuing, then be forced to make that decision.
They got the Green Bay Packers up next, and then they also got the Lions. My question to you is, do you see them winning these next two games?
So here's my thing about the Packers game, right? Drew Brees has heard the narrative that he's washed up, that he's regressed. I could see Drew Brees just snapping off this game with or without Michael Thomas, right, and leading the Saints to a victory in a shootout, right? People are acting like Drew Brees right now is Peyton Manning of 2015. You guys remember Peyton Manning's last season, right?
Yeah.
That's washed up, right? He had 9 TDs, 17 interceptions, still won the Super Bowl, right? But the dink and ducks, the duck throws, like Peyton Manning looked like garbage and that he was done then. So this Drew Brees is not that. So, yeah, Packers, W, Lions, W. I could definitely easily see the Saints winning both, right? Give Drew Brees the motivation, and he's going to be the star quarterback that he needs to be the next 2 games. I'm calling it right now.
I don't believe that.
What do you think, other than Michael Thompson getting back? What do you think that this? What are your thoughts on that, Dan? What are your thoughts on that? You say you don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, you're a Packers fan. You think the Packers are going to win.
I do believe the Packers are going to win, but also I watched the first 2 weeks just like you did, Sean.
Okay.
The Packers offense is throttling teams. It's not the same as last year where we were getting wins based off of close games and whatnot.
Okay.
We're actually destroying teams now.
Okay, so I smell a wager. Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that offline.
Okay.
Sure.
Bet.
Oh, I'm like, okay. Are you guys about to bet on this or something? What's happening here?
Well, no, I like I said, even if Drew Brees sees the noise out there that he's quote unquote washed,
mm-hmm.
what is he gonna change that he hasn't done in the last 3 years? He hasn't over the last 3 years been a downfield threat. Right? So all you have to do is keep everything. I mean, take away his short throws. All of a sudden, he has nothing to go to, and it's going to be the Kamara show. I don't think Drew Brees is going to be the answer to winning this next game. Also, don't think they're going to win this next game.
So, a fair question to both of you guys. Is it a fair statement to still say that in order to win the NFC South, you must go through New Orleans, or is that now Tampa Bay?
I still think it's New Orleans.
Sean?
Because I still don't trust Tampa Bay.
You still don't trust Tampa Bay? Okay.
Yeah.
Because they haven't played together?
Yes, that and the fact that we can't judge how good they are based off of a game against the Carolina Panthers. We know the Carolina Panthers are dog shit.
That's a fair statement.
Okay, so the Packers throttled the Vikings week 1, right?
Yeah.
And then who did they throttle week 2?
The team that y'all barely beat.
Who did they throttle?
Detroit.
Okay, bet. So he's gassing up the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers are the coldest team on this planet. Throttling two dogs, bro.
They have been able to score
the same way. Oh, come on now. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Miss me with that shit, bro. No.
Oh, okay, so
No,
they're the first team.
I'm just saying, no. Don't make an argument
listen
for
to
one
me.
and
Listen to
then
me.
argue for the other. It's the same
But
argument.
listen to me, Sean. This is the same team that has done something that hasn't been done in a very long time and scoring 80 points in the first 2 games and having over 1,000 yards gained. It's not like this team is just barely doing the work or they're doing like 350 against bad defenses. No, they're doing 500 yards a game against bad defenses.
I mean,
Tampa Bay
Rodgers
couldn't do that against a bad defense. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Listen, I can't wait for the Saints to throttle the Packers.
We'll see.
Bro.
We'll see on Sunday
Other than
night,
that,
bro.
to answer your original question, JV,
Yes, sir.
yes, the NFC South still must go through New Orleans for now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. But until I see something otherwise, my original pick was, again, Tampa Bay coming out of the South, right? But I just got to see a little more, right? Not that you can't judge them what they did off Carolina. It's still an NFL team, right? But I do want to see Tom Brady just be a little more consistent week in, week out. Or I want to see Leonard Fournette give me some more consistency week in, week out before I crown Tampa Bay for sure, even though that is my preseason prediction.
I don't have a problem with that. Again, I just feel like if the New Orleans Saints can work on their penalties, I mean, anytime you say that they are averaging 8 penalties a game for a whopping 124 penalty yards, I don't care who is at the helm of your quarterback, you are not going to win many games like that at all. So I feel like if New Orleans can get their penalties together, both offensive and defensive penalties, then perhaps maybe they will look like that legit team that they are. Aaron, would you agree to that?
Yeah, no. Anytime that you can eliminate mistakes, your team's going to look better. It'll help you continue to move the ball and it will help you stop those drive-killing mistakes that they've sort of seen, especially against the Raiders.
Sounds good. Well, before we get out of here, guys, can I give you guys a bonus topic? I would like to know, what do you all think about the Los Angeles Lakers? And are they basically legit? They're going to the finals. They're 3-1 against Denver. Let's talk a little NBA really quick. We still got about 10 minutes left. Sean, if I'm not mistaken, weren't the Denver Nuggets your team? Wasn't that your sleeper team?
The team that picked to come out of the West, if it wasn't going to be the Lakers. Correct. Before
okay, correct. Okay.
Let me just get that out the way, right? But the Nuggets are the comeback kids, man. Jamal Murray has solidified himself as a top 20 player to me in the NBA. Jokic is already there. I love what this team is doing. Now, they're not going to come back against the Lakers, but this team has guts. They got grit. They don't give up. I love it. But to answer your question, JV, yes, the Lakers were my pick to win the whole thing before the playoffs started. I'm going to stay right there, right? LeBron looks like a dog. AD looks like the man. Playoff Rondo, other than his bogus-ass haircut, still looks good.
Boy.
Fair.
Fair.
But he looks so bad, bro. Oh, my God.
And I believe that's his brother out there cutting, right?
I was going to say, it's hard in the bubble. It's hard in the bubble right now when it comes to
I know. Everybody's looking rough right now. But, yeah, bro, I'm excited to see the Lake show. I wanted Lakers Celtics. Looks like we might get Lakers Heat, which I'm good with, too.
Compelling. It's a compelling one.
It is. But, yeah, we got Lakers still going to the ship, bro, and taking the whole thing. Brown's getting number 4.
Let's talk about the Miami Heat. Aaron, are you surprised by this Jimmy Butler-led team that the Miami Heat are dominating in the way that they are doing down there in the bubble? Are you surprised at all?
I am. I'm very surprised, honestly, mainly because of Tyler Hero. That man is out there balling, putting up buckets. I didn't expect a rookie to show up the way that he has shown up in this series. That's
this man brought what's her name to the bubble with him. So that might have something to do with it. You feel me?
Wait, who did he bring to the bubble with him?
I want to say her name is like Katya Henry.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah, some Instagram stars. So, you know what I'm saying? So, Tyler Henry's a little 20-year-old man, you know what I'm saying? Got a little extra motivation to do well. But he's been balling, bro. So, Tyler Hero's been the man. He had the top selling jersey. I don't know if it was last week or since the bubble started, but I'm Mr. Tyler Hero pretty heavy right now.
It's crazy.
The man is becoming a star before us.
Yes.
He really is. Let me ask you guys this before we get out of here. If Miami go ahead and knock off Boston and, the Lakers go ahead and do their thing against Denver, you got Miami, Los Angeles, Jimmy Butler, LeBron. Who do you like there and why?
Well, still LA. Yeah. LA is the better team. They're the more complete team. They have a better starting lineup. Like I said, I like what Tyler Hero is doing, but at the end of the day, he is still technically a role player. And they're going to put the clamps. If it has to come down to it, LeBron will guard Tyler Hero if he's the one out there getting buckets. You saw he took on the challenge of guarding Jamal Murray in the last game. He'll do the same thing whoever's cooking on the other team, which is something that both Paul George and Kawhi should have done against Denver, but they didn't. But that's another story.
But that's a story for another day.
If you put LeBron on Tyler Hero, then they're just going to feed Jimmy.
Well, we've seen that Jimmy actually hasn't been the one scoring in this series against Boston.
He doesn't have to, though, which is a plus right now, right? But when the game is on the line, if it comes down to it, I'm trusting Jimmy Butler all day. And as a Bulls fan, I hope Jimmy – I don't mind seeing Jimmy win, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler has been a dog, right? And it's not his fault that he's had soft-ass teammates the last few seasons
No,
that
it's
don't
not.
really want to win, right? They don't want to do whatever it takes to win, right? So if Jimmy gets a ring at the end of this whole thing, I would love it, bro. As a big fuck you to the Bulls, to the Sixers, to the T-Wolves.
How about to the media?
The
The same media that turned their back on him.
Facts.
Be a fuck you to them too.
Okay, let me say this though. My only problem that I have with this narrative about Jimmy Butler is like the media, people try to say like the media created this narrative that Jimmy Butler was this like big ego guy and wasn't a good teammate. I think if you ever covered Jimmy Butler, you know that Jimmy Butler was always instrumental to every team that he played on. When you think about the time when he was playing with Derrick Rose, when you think about his time out in Philadelphia, I think even his time when he played with the Minnesota Timberwolves, it was the things that Jimmy Butler was doing that was getting all the attention. Anytime you make a Karl Anthony Towns cry, you saw the pit that they tried to put Jimmy Butler against Derrick Rose when he was in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So I don't really think anybody ever questioned Jimmy Butler's commitment to the game or anything like that. We all saw Jimmy Butler flourish as a star.
Oh, they questioned his ability to lead a team to a championship, right? They questioned his ability to be a good teammate, right? That's the shit that they were talking about for Jimmy Butler. He proved all of them wrong. He didn't have the right pieces around him that wanted to win, other than in Chicago, right?
Yeah. Just problem that they had a juggernaut in Miami. That was the only reason why they never advanced.
That's true.
Correct. Jimmy Butler should still be on the Bulls to this day. Like I believe that 100% for a fact.
Real quick before we get out of here, guys. Speaking of the Bulls,
this man
Billy Donovan.
Real quick does 3 times now.
Oh, yeah,
I really did.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, we got plenty of time. Billy Donovan is now the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls. I mean, the news just be coming into the newsroom. That's why we just keep it going. Okay. Real quick, guys. Now this is the final. Real quick.
Okay.
New head coach of the Chicago Bulls. I'm gonna start with you, Sean. You're a Chicago Bulls fan. What does this mean in the short term? Let's say the next couple of seasons. What does this mean for the short term for Bulls fans?
Well, the hope is that we finally have a coach that can develop young talent, right? Mm-hmm. Develop marketing to figure out what the hell marketing is. Develop Kobe White to be a 20-point per game scorer, to maybe attract elite free agents because Billy Donovan doesn't mind recruiting, right? I think that this means the Bulls are no longer going to settle like they've been doing the last few seasons. And we got a chance to make the playoffs next season and to be an elite team in the Eastern Conference within 2 to 3 seasons. And I have never been more excited. Not never. I haven't been this excited since the last season that D Rose played for the Bulls about our prospects moving forward.
Okay. Aaron?
So I love the hire. Home run.
Home run. Aaron, Sean calls it a home run. Do you think that Billy Donovan is going to bring the necessary things to make the Chicago Bulls relevant?
And I will not accept any Billy Donovan slander. So go ahead.
Go. Okay.
No slander at all.
Just a little slander.
I'll just run down something real quick.
Go ahead.
2016-17. 2017 playoffs. Lost in first round.
Okay.
2018 playoffs. Lost in first round.
Okay.
2019 playoffs. Lost in the first round. And then these playoffs here. Now this was not as fair. Well, you know what? They were playing the Houston Rockets. So, lost in the first round.
Okay.
How do you feel? Do you feel that he can get you farther than the playoffs? Because it seemed like you're just excited to make it to the playoffs and possibly be an elite team.
Well, so I'm talking about, he said with the next few seasons. That was JV's specific question, right?
But that's a few seasons. I just gave you 4 seasons.
Right, but you're not going to attract free agents that are elite to OKC. That's never going to happen. OKC is not Chicago, period, right? You have a proven man in AK who built the Denver Nuggets, right? That's going to build this roster, okay? Proven, okay? So everything you're telling me is factual about him bouncing in the first round, but the scenarios are not the same at all. Okay. So, yes, let's get to the playoffs in the next season or two. Let's show some progress, figure out what marketing is, right? Attract elite free agents in a season or two, and get the Bulls back to the promised land. So to answer your question, Aaron, yes, I do believe that this Billy Donovan hire is going to get the Bulls where they need to be within 3 seasons.
You don't see him as a bridge coach?
No, Jim Boylan was
I'm not talking about like a bridge coach as in a losing coach that's just bridge to the next coach. I'm talking about something like a Mark Jackson.
Or everybody always wants to bring up Mark Jackson, bro. I'm so sick of the Mark Jackson narrative in general.
Or something like in football before Belichick got there, God, I forgot the guy's name. But the coach before Belichick in New England, where they build the program up, then they bring in a different coach who can take them that extra step further. Because that's kind of what I see Donovan as, if I'm honest with you.
Okay. I don't understand that at all because the combination of Donovan and AK. Okay, right. But, bro, so is AK a winner? The man who built the Nuggets. Would you consider him to be a winner? That's the man that's putting everything together. That's the architect of this structure, right? And between him and Donovan going to go recruit players, right, to develop players, to bring in veteran players that can help the young boys be better. Yes, I see Donovan as a championship caliber head coach for the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
And I haven't been as excited as far as a head coach goes since we had Tibbs.
All right.
Wow. All right. Well, we
we'll
will
see in 3 years.
We will see in 3 years. I would say my only concern before I wrap things up is that I have not seen Billy Donovan win with any star players. Yes, you can definitely say that he developed a lot of young talent, and we've seen that down in Oklahoma City. So I can see some benefit there. But when you look at some of the guys that have played under Billy since he's been a head coach in the NBA, he has not won anything of great since he's been a head coach down there. So I'm just a little concerned about that. But you guys can't relate to what
you can't relate to what I'm going through or any Bulls fans going through. Aaron, you've been a San Antonio Spurs fan for your entire life, and all they know is winning for 2 decades, right? The Bulls have been garbage for the last 3 or 4 seasons in a row. So let me have my hope. Let the Bulls fans have hope. Finally,
you can have the hope, man. You can have the hope. I just want to temper expectations. That's all.
Yeah, to me, it just seemed like Chicago teams in general, fans, they all are built on hope. I mean, from the Bears to the Bulls.
That's what we had to deal with for the longest time. So yeah,
shout out to the Blackhawks, man. An actual winning
Blackhawks. right. The actual winning team. We're going to wrap things up there real quick. Aaron, final thoughts on anything?
Real quick. Holy shit.
No, we're done, guys.
Oh, first of all, I ain't heard nobody say real quick that many times on something.
That's what we
and
say.
It wasn't quick. It was not quick.
You know what? Do you have any final words?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Go. We're going to beat the Saints. That's how I feel.
Okay. And Sean?
Green Bay sucks.
That seemed unnecessary.
All right.
That's it.
We are going to leave it there. White Sox all day. Yeah, they might have gotten swept by the Indians.
Look at these guys.
On our way to the playoffs. For Aaron and Sean, I'm Josh. This was another edition of Hi Chicago, the sports edition. Make sure you like and subscribe to all our social media platforms. We'll have all of that in the description below.
And don't forget to download us.
Oh, download us. Yeah, for sure. We're audio, wherever you can find.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio.
Stitcher.
I mean, everywhere.
The whole 9.
We're there.
Get podcasts. That's where we're at.
If you're there, we're there. Until next time for Hot Chicago. Peace out.